Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Sachin Karnik here. Today is the 3rd of February 2026. I want to welcome you all to week number 5 of year number 2 of our Angel Wings online personal transformation program. It's a real blessing for me to have the opportunity to do this. We're going to pick up just where we left off last week, and I will try to make sure we show at least one very practical exercise to do during the week. So, I'm sorry. This is that's right. This is year number 3, and this is week number 5. Yes, absolutely right. Sorry about that. Yes, exactly. We're in the 3rd year. You know, that's a really wonderful progression. We meet 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, and everyone is welcome to join. Now, to pick up from last time, if you remember, the exercise we were talking about last time is to simply visualize in the next hour 2 or 3 things that we want to do, that we want to accomplish or experience. It could be something relatively small, something a little bit bigger. It could be something that's entertainment related, family related, household related. It could be anything, doesn't matter. The key point there last time was to follow through on what we have decided. When a decision is made, to follow through on that. And we looked at various different ideas about this, and there's a lot more that we will talk about. But remember, the concept is relatively straightforward, that a decision is made or several decisions are made in the next hour. It's the hour of power, right? It's hour by hour follow through by predetermined action, intentional authorship, and then behavioral execution. Right, so now, today what I want to talk about is the TEMDE. All of you are familiar with this, I'm quite sure by now. Thoughts, emotions, memory, desire, energy. If you put your hand up this way, the thumb at the bottom, and it's right on your hand, TEMDE, thoughts, emotions, memory, desire, energy. So in trying to follow through on our decisions, or even to make decisions, we have to use our thinking, our thoughts. So I'm going to talk about this a bit today, and specifically, if you remember the 5-6-5 model, TEMDE, each one of the 5, thoughts, emotions, memory, desire, energy, each one of them, they're all together functioning simultaneously, and each one of them has 6 aspects: quantity, quality, direction, dimension, depth, and structure. So today I want to talk about quantity. Right, so quantity of our thinking. We know very practically in our life, quite often we feel that I just can't think much today. I'm just tired. There's low energy inside thoughts. Thoughts, or what is known as cognition, does not function without neuropsychological energy. It's the internal energy, right? This is obviously very clear. Should be very clear. But we have experience. We feel low energy. So our mind doesn't work as well. Sometimes we're just tired. I said, no, I can't think about this now. Don't we say that all the time? We say that from time to time. I can't think about this now. I'll think about it later. We also have the other experience on a continuum, too much thinking. I'm just thinking too much about this. I'm just, thinking too much about this friend or this conflict or this issue or this whatever. We notice it, that I'm thinking a lot and a lot of energy is being used. I'm getting drained. I'm getting tired of it. Stuff. The experience is not a good experience. So when we use the word thought or cognition in general, the quantity of our thinking is a matter of detection. And this is our exercise this week. To detect, and I'm going to do it also, I'm asking you to do it, how much are we thinking? Are we thinking too much? Or there's not enough thinking going on? Is there low energy? So what is the connection between energy and thought? It's a question we have to ask ourselves, right? So this is not something that externally people are going to be able to detect, or it's not about somebody else judging us. It's about ourselves, an individual like myself, Sachin here, trying to recognize this for myself. That, am I thinking? Yes. What am I thinking about? So what am I thinking about? That's the direction. We'll talk more about it later, but we cannot think unless we're thinking about something. Right now, Sachin is thinking about this presentation. There's a background step-by-step process going on. I have some notes and some things I thought about today, right? We cannot think unless we're thinking about something, someone, some memories, is thinking about some object, some person, some story, whatever. Thinking doesn't happen without the context, without thinking connected towards a goal, whatever, right? It could be anything, really. So now, the question is about self-mastery. It's a very interesting question. If I say that I am, or when I say that I am the master of my thoughts, not the victim of my thoughts, not driven by my thoughts, but thoughts are driven by me, that's a whole different ballgame. So if you're making some notes, write this down. I am the master of my thoughts. I am not driven by my thoughts. I am the driver of my thoughts. That's self-mastery. So self-mastery completely is the mastery of the TEMDE. But let's talk about thoughts. That mastery of thoughts means what? That the master is the one who is the controller, the director, the decider, etc. of that process that we call thinking, because thinking is a process. It is a subtle process. I hope that's clear. We can detect it. If we are a little bit attentive and a little bit aware, we can detect our thinking, that I'm thinking about this. Okay, but then should I be thinking about that? I have to look at it, introspect. I'm thinking so much. What do I need to do so that my thoughts are not just on autopilot? They're just going in whichever direction. They're just, they're connected, right, through our memories. One thought comes thinking about a family member, then some story comes, and this thing, it jumps so quickly from one thing to another because it's a web. Our memories are always active with our thoughts. It's a web of memories. So thinking that is going on, it happens very, very, very fast. Super fast. So there's the speed of thought. Isn't it so? There is the speed of thought. And that speed of thought, we could say that's part of the quantity of thinking. That, how much are we thinking in a particular time period? Within a 5-minute time period, how many thoughts do we have? We don't realize that, actually. But there's the speed. Now, the speed of thinking has to do with the energy flow within. The more energy that is dumped into our brain, into our mind, to that extent, our thinking speed can increase. It happens. So many examples are there. It's like our monkey mind. Monkey mind is what? It's jumping from one thing to another fast. And memories show up and different images show up. It's very intricate what happens. So mastery of thought means, in a general sense, I am deciding what I'm going to think about. This is our exercise this week. How do we do that? We do it an hour at a time. But that thinking could be just sitting and maybe thinking something, contemplating, but it's usually some kind of action. So we're performing some activity and we need to think while we're performing that activity. Right? Isn't it so? We're going for a walk, let's say, in a park. Well, there's some thinking going on about walking and movement, but then because it's a fairly straightforward action, there's other thoughts going on also. So it's a decision about what I'm going to think about. And then with that decision, in the next hour, to follow through with that and to be aware, are my thoughts going in too many other scattered ways? And if that's going on, there's a couple of things that can be done. Alternate nostril breathing can be done. Certain prayers, Christian prayers, Jewish prayers, Eastern prayers, you can pray and do the same prayer again and again, like 10 times, 11 times, to stabilize the mind. Ask God for blessings. That's a spiritual solution. There's meditative solutions to kind of steady the thinking, alternate nostril breathing, deep breaths in and out, Mantras are also there, or even words, special words are there. So there's many ways to go about it. Many mantras are there in Eastern tradition. In Western tradition, they're prayers or holy names, divine names of God, things like that, or some certain lines that can be just repeated. Affirmations are available. There's plenty on YouTube. Thousands of affirmations are available. It is a way of recognizing that the mental activity that we call thought is not me. It is an experience that I'm having. That's why we say my thoughts. Nobody ever says I am thoughts. We always say these are my thoughts. That means me and thoughts are different. Thoughts are the possessed, meaning the possessor. Possessor meaning the one who is, or the experiencer of that which is experienced. Thought is part of experience. It's not who we are. So that's another point to write down. I am not thoughts. Thoughts are mine, but I am not thoughts. Like this shirt. I can easily see that this little white t-shirt is mine. Sachin's t-shirt is in my closet. I got 4 or 5 of these right up there. Okay, fine. But I'm not this shirt. It's easy to understand that with a piece of cloth. What about the body? The body is mine, but I'm still something different from that, and that's a matter of discovery. The body is an experience. Yes, we have a oneness with the body. Similarly, we have oneness with our thinking and our feelings and emotions. In the entire TEMDE, there's oneness with all 5. But that oneness doesn't mean that I am that. What I actually am, different from thinking, is a matter of spiritual realization. That's a dimension that sometimes we talk about that, but we'll get to that, at some point, whatever that might be. That's a matter of discovery and realization. But for our purposes here in PTP, it should be a very clear observation that the thinking that is going on is not me. It's my thinking. I'm the one in charge of that. I can decide what I want to do while I'm awake. Nighttime, we're not at that stage yet to have mastery at nighttime. We'll talk about that next year. That mastery at nighttime is not going to happen until we can have total mastery in the daytime, which hardly anybody ever has. But we can have it though. We have to go in sequence. Right? So what is the exercise to be done? Is to be aware that am I thinking too much? Am I thinking too little? What am I thinking about? What's the experience I'm having internally? Because I'm thinking of this person, this situation, this event, whatever, right? I'm thinking about something. What's my internal experience? And why am I thinking about that? Is there any benefit for me? Have I thought about it already? So thinking has a purpose. Thinking has great purpose in the sense that it allows us to come to terms and resolution with past events. It's the ability to examine the past, think about the past, probe into the past, and make peace with it permanently. And that's the real point. Until and unless we can make peace completely with our past, there cannot be self-mastery. There just cannot be. So to make peace with everything that's happened in the past. Now someone will say, wait a minute, how do I do that? Some people have done some really terrible things, and some bad things have happened, and some nasty things have happened, and how can I make peace with it? Because it's very simple. If I don't make peace with my past, I'm not going to find peace anywhere. I will always carry that sickness, that disturbance, that agitation, that anger, that hatred, or whatever it is. I'll be carrying it, and it's a contaminant. Why? Why should I be carrying that? What good does that do for me? If I have to do something regarding the past to make the situation better, I can try that. That's fine. Like making an amends and things like people talk about that in recovery, right? In addictions recovery. Maybe apologizing to someone. But you don't want to make the situation worse. Many times people like to dig up stuff from them. What's the point in digging up the trash can? Think of it this way. If something is, it's like a trash dump, where they have trash is dumped in one huge mountain. It's like a whole mountain of trash. And we have those kinds of mountains in our head. Now, leave them there. Don't keep digging them up and bringing them into the present. There's no point in doing that. And see, that is part of self-mastery, is to realize that I'm not going to dig this trash up again and bring it back into the present. Can you imagine going to the local trash dumpsters or trash heap and taking pounds and pounds of that and putting it in your car and bringing it home? Smelly and dirty and stinky and with bacteria and with worms and terrible, terrible things are in there, and we're bringing that home? What do we need to do with that? That thing has to be recycled. Look at the analogy of the trash that's gone into the whatever that's called, the place where they store all the trash. There's some name for it. I forgot the name of it right now. There's a name for that, where they actually place all the trash, and then eventually, hopefully, it gets recycled or whatever happens to it. Right? But it has to be recycled and is sorted out and recycled. That's the whole point of self-mastery. The experiences we have in our mind, which is part of our memory, which we think about, right? We think about our memories, the T and the M, the connection between the T and the M. We think about our memories, and that thinking doesn't happen without emotion, so the emotions are involved in this also. And then our desires prop up, and then so energy gets swirling around in so many different ways. These all five function together. So self-mastery means the ability to remember events of the past in a highly meditative, transformative, rejuvenating, and in a way where we can recycle the experience for our benefit. That is interesting. Most human beings do not know that they should be doing that, or if they kind of intuitively know they would like to do that, but they don't know how to do it. Most people have not tried to do that also, is to recycle the memory. Have you ever thought about recycling memories? People are usually accessing some memory, and then they feel strong emotions and identify with it and become so trapped inside memory. So our thinking, the ordinary human being in general, is trapped. The ordinary human being's thinking is trapped in memories. And that is energy draining, energy damaging. And what does it do? It keeps a person bound, and then the experience is dysphoric. It's not a good experience. And then that causes, it's an energy drain. It causes tiredness, and it directly impacts the function of the physical body. Our physical body is impacted because we're stuck somewhere still. Then, of course, you've got all those clinical diagnoses also, PTSD and rumination disorder. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. Where do those disorders come from? I mean, there are many reasons why they're there, but one of these reasons is that we don't know how to unclutch from the memory structure. The memory structure needs to be there so we can see beyond it, evolve beyond it. The memories are necessary to evolve beyond, because that's part of our conditioning process. It's like a ladder. Think of it this way. You're climbing a ladder. What's the purpose of the ladder? Is to stay on the ladder? The purpose of the ladder is to go beyond the ladder to the rooftop, and then leave the ladder alone. You don't throw the ladder away, because you can come down, you can go up, but that's mastery. But don't get stuck on the ladder, and don't break the rungs of the ladder either. It's like that. We can go into our memories. We can go into them, and we can climb out of them for our own benefit. Climb out of them in a way where we can now have a new vision of our memories. A new vision is possible when we are steady inside, and that's called the steadiness of thinking in the present. Quantity, quality, direction, dimension, depth, structure. Quantity meaning the quantity for our thinking gets steady. Meaning our mind becomes steady. That doesn't mean we don't have thinking. Please be very clear. We do think, but the quantity is within a very healthy range. It's the healthy quantity of thought as opposed to unhealthy quantity of thought or toxic thinking. Very interesting. Very interesting. This is all application. So what are the application steps this week? I think the concepts should be very clear. They're pretty straightforward. So I want to open the door into self-mastery this week. Well, how do I do that? First of all, the hour at a time. 1 hour. What's happening in the next hour? What am I going to do in the next hour? And what is the quality of my thoughts? My thoughts, I want best quality. I want quantity to be the right quantity. I want to think enough, but not overthink. I want to think and enjoy and do what I want to do, experience my life, but not underthink, not overthink, not overanalyze, not underanalyze. It's very powerful. So, and I want to stay in the present. I want to be able to stay in the present. By staying in the present, I can decide then how much thinking to do. I am the master of my thoughts. I'm not the victim of them, and I'm certainly not the slave of my thoughts. I can decide where to place my thoughts, which direction, what do I want to think about, what do I want to do. So mastery of thoughts means that there is a determination in the next hour what I'll be doing. But that's action. But action doesn't happen without thoughts. And then thoughts carry energy. So is energy getting rejuvenated, recycled? So the trash that is there in our memories, these are the points. What is the exercise? Sit consciously 3 times this week for half an hour or more to deliberately think about, to activate something from memory and take steady breaths in and out, stabilize, come back to the present, recognize that the memories are not me. They are my memories, but I'm not those memories. So you go into them and come out of them. Go into them and come out of them. Start with family members. There's all kinds of memories with family members. Just go into them. You'll notice all kinds of feelings. Don't get stuck there. Breathe through it. Do prayers if you want. Do mantras if you want. Do alternate nostril breathing if you want. And come back to the present. This is a meditative, reflective exercise that is going to promote self-mastery. It will open the door into self-mastery by synchronizing our breathing with our thinking. And then the energy flow within. So thought, breath, and energy are in one continuum. They're on a chain. So stabilize one of them, you stabilize the other two. See, this is another point to write down this week. Stabilize one of them. So we can try to stabilize our breath by various meditative techniques. There's many, many of them online when we do them in different forms. And then gain wisdom and insight into our thoughts and into our memories. It's difficult to work directly on energy, but we can work on our breathing. We can use our thinking and our feelings in connection with prayers, in connection with meditations, etc. To do what? To stabilize thought. So this week, the exercise is hour by hour, as often as we can remember, that I'm stable and I'm steady. Steadiness. Steadiness brings stability. Stability is harmony, brings harmony. That harmony brings mastery. And that is what we're headed, right? So how are we headed to this? 1 hour at a time. This is all application now. Completely application-based program. Lots of ideas have been discussed in the last 2 years. We've done exercises also. Now we are actually wanting to move into self-mastery. And that happens 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 breath at a time. This is the exercise for this week, is to recognize the quantity of our thoughts and to bring stability to it However it's done, through meditation, through prayers, through breathing techniques, through exercises, through the right, watch out for diet also. Too much eating is not good, too little is not good. Everything needs to be in the balanced state, because without the balanced state, we talked about that last year, without sustained balanced state, there's no way self-mastery actually opens up. We have to recognize where our balance points are, stay in them, and then move into self-mastery from that platform. It's already 8:35. As I promised, I won't cover too much material. I want to give an opportunity to all of you to ask some questions, make comments. I can speak for another hour on this if you want me to, but it would be too much. So it's just a lot of ideas, and they become too many ideas all at one time. So we don't want that to happen. For this week, there's only literally just one basic idea, and that is, I am the master of my thoughts. They are not the master of me. And in that idea, many sub-ideas are there. The thoughts are part of my experience. I'm not them. They are a tool to be utilized. Right? So these are all ideas. I'm not the victim of my thoughts. And if I'm overthinking, recognize it. Underthinking, recognize it. I don't want my energies to be disturbed by overthinking. Thought uses energy. These are all things that we already know. This is our experience. Now what we want to do, we want to consciously change the experience into self-mastery. That in the next hour, I am the master. Use the I, pronoun I. Perfectly okay. It's not an ego statement. I am the master of my thoughts. They are not the master of me. And I'm going to decide which direction they should go in, how much time, energy, effort has to be spent in the goals that I want. Thinking is always going to be there. But many people are sitting around not doing much of anything and just dreaming up stuff and then getting sad and depressed and angry and this and that and worried and tension. We get caught up, trapped inside the vortex of our thinking. We don't want that to happen. If that's happening, pull out. Do the meditation techniques, prayers and all that. Do them and pull out of that thing. Pull energy out of it and see through it. If you have to think about something to see through it, to understand it better, that's fine. Make peace. And this is the other point for this week. Make peace with the past. Complete peace. Work on it every day. If there's stuff that's bothering, look into it. Is there something yet to be done? If there's nothing can be done about it, leave it alone. Don't dig it up again. Don't dig up that trash again. So these are the points we covered today. It's already 8:37. So let me stop here. By the way, the quantum qualities, you already have them. I did make a document of that. I did send them. I'll send those out again, 52 quantum qualities. Try to apply them this week. Try to apply the fifth quality this week. But again, do this. If you do this, all 52 qualities are in this. So they're all together. Self-mastery has all 52 qualities. Do this much today. Just do it today, literally, like after we're done here, make a decision from 8:30 to 9:30 or 9 to 10 for 1 hour before going to bed. What am I going to do? I am the master of my thinking, and I'm going to make my experience the best that I can make it for me. I want my experience to be the best quality experience overall, right? These are the ideas for today. Let me stop here for now, and then we'll pick it up next week. I will open it up for any comments or questions. As promised, I will not try to cover too many points. These are the points for today. Let's stop here for now.